men's tournament, James Aramis and Vilmos Foldis on table number 11.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jeremy Jones with Pool Action TV. We're here at the Asian Culture Day Pro Men's event. These are the final two winners. I'm joined by Mary Kinnison. Hello, Mary.
Hi, Jeremy. How are you today?
Good, good. This is the final day of the tournament. Excuse me, we got 4 players on each side left in the pro events.
We'd like to invite everyone that can make it to please attend and go show your support for
Dennis Orcollo has won the lag. We're racing to 9. We talked about this on the ladies' winner side yesterday, how huge this match is because we're playing a true double elimination. And so whoever wins this match is going to have to be beat twice in the finals. So a huge match here on the winner's side.
In the amateur division,
and Dennis not taking much time here.
Ben Sutherland and Ray Scanadore. This is going to be final 4 of the amateur division. Best of luck, guys.
He hit him really well. Got a couple kisses on the cue ball. Is he going to end up with a shot? I think he is.
I know he can hit the ball full in the face, if nothing else.
Yeah, I think he's got to look at it now. It's a little off angle because of the 2 ball now. I don't know if he's going to try and go back and forth. I doubt he's going to elevate the cue. He may try and go back and forth and try and get to the short side of the 2 somehow. Could run into the 2 possibly with top English.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll probably check the cue ball up and go across the table and end up maybe on the short side of the 2 somewhere. That's what I'm guessing. Oh, he's elevating. No, I got nothing. All right, so he's going to shoot the 1. He's going to shoot the 1 ball. Okay, great shot there. A little heavy. That's why the cue ball didn't get quite as far as he wanted, but still a great shot. Now, this is thin, so on this fast table, I doubt I try to hold the ball here. Maybe I try to go 2 rails and go maybe into the 6 with the cue ball or run the cue ball in between the 6-4 maybe.
Yeah, all the pockets are available, so.
Yeah, and just try and hit just past the side. That way you don't ever flirt with getting behind the 6 and the 10. He could check it up with a lot of inside trying to play for the 4 in the lower right corner. I think don't fight it here. Just take the natural path, coming 2 rails, like I said, kind of going towards the 6 off the 2nd rail. He could check it with a lot of inside, though. Yeah, that's the one I didn't like. Well, he went in and played further. Okay, that's a nice shot. It's real important, though, that he got the proper angle on this 4 to the 5. It doesn't appear the 5 passes the 7. So he's definitely got some work left here. He's going to have to hit this well and just ease the cue ball down there in between the 5-7, I think. Either that or play it firm with some right-hand spin and try and gain an angle coming off the back rail. Yeah, but this is touchy right here. I think I like him just floating. Okay, he's jacking up. He's going to try and draw 1 rail back
side
out.
rail and back out.
Like Buddy Hall shot.
Yeah.
Buddy used to shoot this type of shot as good as anybody, really cheat the angle. Wow.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. We've got 2 quarterfinal matches going on the outer tables. We'll keep you updated with the scores there. Thing about here is he's got a path to go in between the 8-10, but you'll notice he's a little worried about coming back up the table, meaning getting behind the 8. So speed's crucial here.
Oh, boy, he went right past that 8.
Yeah, he went right past it and scratched.
Wow.
That stretch got him a little there. Really nice starter for Chris.
Chris leaped out of his chair. He was ready. I spoke with him yesterday, and he feels like he's just the last year been coming into his game, and he's real confident. And
Well, he was a great QS before he started really playing professional 9-ball, and it takes a while. It takes a while to pick up a lot of things about the game that didn't cost you little errors here and losing little games you don't figure to. So
yeah, he told me he feels like he can win these things now.
Oh, yeah.
He's got that mental. And he's sure playing good enough too.
well, he's got all the skills, that's for sure.
He doesn't waste any time either.
No, not at all. And Dennis really doesn't either. A situation comes up, he'll do some thinking, but overall he doesn't waste much time either. One of the faster Filipino players. James Aranas also. But in the short time I've seen James from the first couple times I saw him, he slowed down a lot.
Yes.
But he's a very young man too.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Yeah, we used to race around the table when we were young.
Jeremy, I'm off the air, but whenever you would let folks know who's in the booth with you, Ray Kinson, introduce her as a 2-time world champion and one of the founding members of the WPBA.
Yeah, just a veteran of the WPBA tour is good enough.
Mayor, you're on the air. I'm off the air. Okay, you cannot talk to me. Unless you pull your slide.
Oh,
Chris Melling to break the balls here, leading 1-0. Open hand bridge, you don't see that very often. But it's power's. I mean, he can still hit him pretty hard, but power's not the key here. I don't think with the template. It's a nice, good timing break with some pop.
timing and accuracy. Yeah.
And that'll do. He'll play the 2-6 combination, and other than getting the 2 tied up, pretty open table.
Yeah, the balls are spreading really well. Yesterday with Chris's match against Efren. Was it Efren? I can't remember.
Yeah,
I've watched
against
so many
Efren.
good
Yeah,
matches.
that was Efren.
The balls kept opening, didn't open up well. So there was a lot of strategy and safety play.
Okay, he can just come. He can. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Come down the short side of the table pretty easily. Don't flirt with the 7 at all.
On our left are 2 of the best women players I've ever seen in my life. They are, where do they play?
Well, Guy Young, who played a pretty good hot seat match against Kelly Fisher yesterday, had some mistakes towards the end, but overall played great. She's looking to rebound off a loss yesterday. A little tricky here now. He may have to try and pull this past the side or come off the 9. I'm not sure which. I don't think he can just go past the 9 easily without involving that side pocket. So he may be drawing this off a little bit of the 9 ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't
Not
quite
if
get
he's-
the draw.
No, and he didn't have the spin on it either. To spin
No.
out after he hit the rail.
Well, he knew he had
He
to
lost
kind
it.
of. Well,
Yeah.
he had to let up on the draw a little to go into the 9.
Right.
If he put too much, he might go by the 9 and in the
Right.
side pocket. So
Yeah.
it was a little funny.
Yeah.
Those tweener shots. So
Yes.
now here, I think he can bank the 7 down, and you want to collide into the 8 here. Is what you want to do. You want to use a little bump of the 8 to try and get the snooker. Now he can play it softer, like I said, and bump the 8. You can definitely get the ooh.
Oh, he double kissed it.
Yeah. And both player making a mistake on an open what you figure was an open table.
Right.
Okay, now it looks like he's got the natural path to just go right in between the 9 and 10 off the side rail. Nice shot. And, you know, I've seen Dennis play quite a bit more than Chris. I've seen Chris play quite a bit, though, but Dennis is maybe the best in the world off of recovering off of a mistake, meaning he can just come right back with it, and you'll never even think he made a mistake in like the last 2 or 3 weeks. So
He shakes it off and
yeah,
just
very
gets on
well.
with it. Yeah. Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, and a lot of us can regroup with like an open shot. You know what I mean? Like you make mistakes, you get an open shot, you can calm yourself down, get through a rack. But he can come back off a mistake with something very difficult, and usually knocks it
come
in.
with it, yeah. Yeah, the mental aspect of the game. He's got a really a good mental fortitude.
Mm-hmm.
This is the right word.
Well, Vilmus Foldest, I think he's shooting a 10 to take a 2-0 lead, and he's been rolling through that
He's
loser
having a
side.
great tournament this time.
He's a great player.
Sure,
he's very
he sure
talented.
is.
Yeah.
You know, and he stays in stroke playing on Oscar Dominguez Mez Tour.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the Midwest. What is it now?
The Mez, yeah.
Mez West State.
West Coast, I think, or
I
something.
can't remember. It's a crazy name. But anyway, it's I think they're in their 3rd season now.
Yeah.
And he's Vilmos has won a good portion of those events. He's always in the top 3.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, he's steady.
And
I'll tell you that.
And he's just he's getting tournament tough.
Yeah, and he's no newcomer really. He's been playing in big
Been around
tournaments
for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one. I think the overhit kind of makes the side pocket balls kind of jump out a little far. The ball's going towards the side.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to me with a little bit more on it, you tend to make those balls go a little long. And I see a rollout on a jump shot here, I believe. Very tough to challenge here. I would be rolling out to a piece of the ball is what I would be trying to get to. And that looks like that's what he's actually doing. Or maybe not. Maybe he's clipping this too and trying to leave a jump. Well, see, now you can't take away the worst of it. Now he's left a little piece. And I understand his thought process trying to tie the 2 up. But against a guy like Dennis, you still can't take away the worst of it.
And he didn't really tie it up. It's makeable on the side.
Right. Well, Dennis is, you got to be real careful here if he's going to try and bank this one clear and get the cue ball maybe behind the 3 and the 4 somehow. And yeah, I wouldn't take any chances early in the match here on something that's triple tough. And looks like to me is something that you can't really calculate. Meaning even if you hit it well, you may give up a leak on the one ball. Oh, that's a great curve shot there. Very
Wow,
well
how do you
done.
hit that? Wow. I'll tell you what, I've learned so much just sitting here and watching these great players.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to get home and try them. And
I think he's got a nice kick here, though. Just kick and try and hit the left. If you're looking at your screen, hit the left side of the one, move the one towards the 7 and all that. Is he going to wrap the corner? Yeah.
yeah, he's coming out the corner.
Okay. Well, it's not going to work out.
Yeah,
It was
he sold
a
out.
nice hit and
Sold out and opened up the 2.
Yeah, and had a lot of chances there to get a snooker, but
Yeah.
the 7 is. There's some balls that are tough, though.
Nicely played. Got a little straight on that.
Yeah, fell behind this
Right,
ball,
yeah.
and now he's got to send the cue ball with some speed somewhere. He's just going to try and hold it for a long shot on the 5, I think.
Yeah, Threw it up on his stroke a little bit at the end. Didn't get that little pinch. Oh boy, he held that up nicely.
Yeah.
But he's still in trouble.
And he's elevated. He's dead on the 50. You can see straight up and down on the 5.
Yeah.
And distance on the 6 does make a difference here. I know the 7's right there, but if you get a little long,
Yeah, he doesn't like it.
there's a lot of pressure playing alternate the break, I think, more so than winter break. Oh, great shot there. And that'll show the nerves right there, how the
Yes.
nerves are flowing.
He's one of the best players I've seen with that slow roll, slow spin.
Oh, ooh, okay. And that's the difference of the diamonds this week here in Vegas. I think overall is the ball sliding in a lot more. You know, especially with these great players, they have a great stroke, which is going to help that even more so. But this dry weather,
Yeah, it's dry here.
and it's just been incredible weather, I think, for late May.
It's hotter than normal.
Really?
Yeah,
For late May,
yeah,
really?
yes.
It was hotter
Yes.
back home, so I was like,
No,
well,
I've lived here. Before I left, and I just got back, but I've lived here from 86 to 06.
right.
And it never got really hot like this until the very end of May.
Wow.
And I know because my ex-in-laws used to come out, and they hated the heat, so they would always come out the last week of May.
Right.
And 2 or 3 days after they left, it would
That's
just
when
get
it came,
hot.
right?
Yeah, and it's warmer here than it was when I left 11 years ago. Even the winter was milder. Last year too. It's definitely hotter. I think the dryness is really making the tables play a lot faster too.
Oh, yeah,
than they
for
normally
sure,
do. These
yeah.
tables it's like playing on glass.
Yeah, they roll out a long ways.
Yeah, just when you think it's going to stop, it just rolls and another diamond. Well, Chris takes the lead, 2-1.
Both players breaking from the same side, getting nice results.
That's a nice break.
The
Park
3
the
ball
2
going
ball.
4 rails. Now, what's the 2 going to do? Now, this
Oh,
8 ball's gotten in a real tough spot. So he's got a lot of work here. Getting from a 1 to the 2 he's going to have to probably, if he can reach it, come a couple rails. Wondering about the 4, though. 4's not easy either.
No.
You'll see the 5 kind of on the point, but the 8 on the point, but maybe he can
Maybe
play the
play the
5
5 off the
to
8.
open it a little
Yeah.
bit if needed.
If it's laying good enough.
You'll notice where the 9 is, though, later on in the rack. If the 9 stays there, he just gets pretty straight on the 8 either way. He should be okay getting from the 8 to the 9. So, big shot here with the bridge. Oh, is he going the top inside? He was? No way.
Sure
Wow.
is.
Don't show off in the semifinal now.
He's,
Wow.
He's
To me, I don't see how that could have been easier than trying to punch it going back 2 rails. But
I've also noticed something. I noticed this yesterday. The backhand of some of these players, they don't hold it the way the Americans do with the palm down. They hold it like this.
with the bridge,
palm
you
up.
mean? With the bridge, yeah.
Yeah, and I've never seen that before. And he did it, and someone else did it yesterday. But they just lay the bridge in their hand like
Right,
this
right,
with
right.
the palm up instead of holding it down or whatever.
Okay, he's just going to come straight up the table, I think. Like so. Speed's crucial because all right, nice little bump there.
Sure
But
was.
I think he was going to be pretty good anyways.
Might have made no, it looks all right for the 5 on the side. I was going to say it might have made the 5 a little tougher, but
Well, with the 6 being there, everything should be good. He doesn't really require much on the 5,
Right.
so he looked to see if opening up the 8 is necessary and doable. Again, where the 9's at, and the 7's pretty accessible too, so it doesn't really need to be moved, the 8 ball. If it's totally convenient and not going to cause any future problems, that's all right.
Yep, he's decided not to fool with it.
And probably swing the cue ball a couple rails here around. That needs to go a little bit. Should be good.
Boy, it just looks like it's not going to get
Yeah,
there. And
it's got that couple feet rollout,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Wow. He plays pretty.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I really enjoy watching him play.
Oh, yeah. Got a very creative mind, too.
Yes. He got straighter than he wanted.
Yeah,
But,
but the
he's
9
okay.
pretty makeable.
Yeah.
Probably chipped us in with some right, hitting before in
Think he'll
between
go-
the side
go
and
under
the.
it, under the 10.
I don't think so. No,
Yeah,
yeah, just
okay.
kind of above it a little bit. Pretty solid out there. He had a nice opening shot on the 1, but you saw he had to use the bridge to go 3 rails for shape on the 2. So you're looking at a Chris Melling that's very comfortable, it looks like.
Wonder if we could get a score update on the ladies.
We will. We'll get our main man, Ray Hansen, on it.
Yeah.
It looked to me that Guy Young's opponent was really struggling to start the first few games.
Is she?
Yeah.
She's had a tough tournament here. I believe she lost her second match, and she went all the way through the loser side. I mean, every time I looked up, she was playing.
Well, she is the
And,
number 1 ranked player in the world,
She
right?
sure is. Yeah, she sure is.
Tell me her full name again. Do you remember all of it?
Chen Siming. In China, and I believe Korea, the surname is first,
Mm,
and the given name is second, unlike the way it is here in the States,
Right.
in the Western world.
a lot of Asia's like that, actually.
Yeah. So Siming is really her first name.
Right. If you look back, ooh, what a kiss there, almost. Horrible one in the corner, almost. If you look back at a lot of Dennis's matches, he trailed early in a lot of them.
Well, yesterday he was
Yeah.
Max had him, I think 4-1.
Right.
And he won 7 or 8 in a row.
Yeah, and he
close it
stays
out.
real calm, no matter the situation. Just a real 1 ball at a time kind of player, which I love. But he's a guy I watch a lot, and I've noticed many matches this tournament that he's trailed. Great opening shot from distance there. That's one thing he can do, the control from distance. To come 2 rails, make sure you don't underdraw it, make sure you don't overdraw it. Okay, that's going to be a little thin. He's got a pretty clear path to come down the table, though. He can play the 5 in the side. Can he check this cue ball up? I don't know. That's why he's looking at the 3 in the corner, because maybe the cue ball's going into the 10.
Yeah, I don't think he can hold it. Before he came to the States, he was known as the most feared money player in the Philippines. And I think that background made him the player he is today, to come from behind. Because you know how it is, when you're playing for
Oh yeah.
for the money, as long as you have an extra barrel, you're not worried.
Makes a huge, huge difference. And he's falling pretty straight here, Mary.
Yes.
Want to force this or draw back to the short side of the 6, which makes this touchy. Okay, that's pretty ideal.
He might have to bump into the 10.
Yeah, doesn't want to move the 10 too much, so.
He's hitting it with a little inside. Oh, didn't want to fool with the 10 at all. Very nice.
Oh, that's nice there, yeah.
Yeah.
And I got him a better angle on the 7 to get to the 9 as
Right.
well, so whether that be drawing it or following it.
That's nice.
Ooh, a little bit overcut, a little bit. Great shooting.
Very nice.
And a much needed recovery, I think, early in this match.
Yeah, you don't want to get too far behind.
No, alternate break, a lot of pressure. Of course, all these kind of players, they realize they can come back from 4-1 and stuff like that. And we just talked about that, playing the alternate break. But a lot of guys get that. I wouldn't say give up, but they put a lot more pressure on themselves when they happen to get down 3-1, 4-1, playing alternate break. They have a little bit different mentality. Something you got to learn to just hang in there.
Yeah, I was talking with Allison about the alternate break, and she said it's very different in 10 ball than from 9 ball, because in 9 ball, with the alternate break, when you get behind, it's very difficult to come back. But with 10 ball,
It's very doable.
it's very doable because you just don't get you have more opportunities at the table normally.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
expect your opponent to just get a shot every time
Right.
playing after the break.
Exactly. So you're going to get up to the table at least once or twice a game with some kind of an opportunity.
Like I tell people, you're playing a race to 9. You got to expect somebody. Most likely, somebody is going to get up 3-1, 4-1. It's not going to be neck and neck. It's going to be more often that somebody gets a 2 or 3 game lead in a match. So whether it's you that has it or your opponent, you have to be prepared for it. So just stay calm. Okay, that looks perfect.
Yes, it does.
And you're not going to find many guys that do that type of stuff better than the English. The English really chip the ball and run it to a lot of nice places.
Yes.
And Dennis may have to jump at this. Just because the kick path, it's there, you can kick and hit the one, but what are you going to call? So I think he can be more accurate jumping, whether he's going for a make or if he's going to maybe play safe or, play percentages, basically.
Yeah, and the way the balls are laying, it's, even if you sell out, it doesn't figure to be an easy run out.
It's not easy, but
Yeah, you got all
guys
these
are probably
balls
going
on
to
the
do
side
it, yeah.
and-
But the guys are so smart, like the 6 does go on the side. If they get bad on the 4, they'll play for the cross side bank on the 6.
Right.
They're going to make things more easy on them. At least gives themselves a shot to win.
Yeah.
I like him banking this straight back down and trying to hold the ball myself if he's going to jump at it.
Yeah, he's jumping. He's got his jump cue.
Maybe call the 3, or the cut shot is not very nice. I think I take a chance at banking the 1 at the 3. Trying to hold my ball, call the 3 ball. Yeah, I think that's what he called. I don't think he called the 1. Doesn't appear it passes the 3.
Yeah, I don't think it would pass the 3.
This is I think your best chance. I might even jump at this one, and I'm not much to pull out a jump cue.
I know.
When it's not makeable,
Right. Yeah, I stopped playing on the tour when the jump cues were just, we had them, but they weren't as
Yeah,
they weren't a mandatory part of your arsenal.
Well,
the way
they were
today.
used for people that couldn't jump the ball that well with the full cue, basically, and
Right.
and it's not like people even jump close ones with the jump cue back then. They just jumped regular ones.
Earl
So.
taught me how to jump with the full cue, and so I was a little annoyed when they came out with the jump cues because I had that advantage.
I know he got lucky, but what a great shot he made containing the cue ball. That's what that shot was all about.
Kept the cue ball on the end
Yeah,
rail.
well, if I was going to give Chris a shot, at least he had to come off the end rail with it.
Right.
And I think you can't get any better than that.
Yeah, he's smiling. He says, wow.
It is unbelievable that he got hooked off that one ball right there. But you have to give credit to Dennis as far as how well he hit the jump.
Right.
Now, this is flirting with the side, I think. To shave this one, I don't think he can hit it thick enough to hit before the side. Maybe he can, but it's super thin to get past the side. So it looks to me if he catches before the side, he may run right behind the 8, maybe. He may run right behind the 8, but
Oh, boy, he hit this good.
yeah,
Oh, he didn't get that extra roll that time.
and that was touchy.
Yeah. Well, he's got a shot, and with that 3 off the rail,
You know, these are
Like
all
it
day.
is.
All day. They call Adrian Peterson in football all day. This is the all day guy of pool.
Right, right.
He just knocks these in all day.
All
I mean,
day
and you're
long,
supposed
right.
to, but
Of
I'm
course.
saying like the percentage he makes and the pressure
it's
of these.
almost a routine shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, Dennis is an amazing player. Just draw it to the side rail, punch it to the side rail. Yeah, nice.
It's everything so clean. And now this is where Mary was talking about how difficult the rack is. I think he'll really look to play for the side, but I think he'll end up playing the cross-side bank is what I'm guessing. Now, there's just not a lot of room to fall down here and below the 10-8,
Right.
getting from the 4 that's not taking a big chance, you might say.
And it's a pretty tough shot from this angle.
Well,
too.
that's
The
what I
side
mean,
pocket
like
is
you-
so small.
Yeah, and you have to get on that shot. You have to be below, meaning
Right.
you have to be near this end rail because the 8-10's there, you know,
Right.
so you don't want to shoot a real difficult shot off this end rail.
I think you may
I
be
like-
right. He might be playing for the bank.
Hey, he might play for the 6-7 combo, too. Dennis will shoot that in real quick. Don't
Yeah.
think he won't. He
Boy,
will, I'm serious.
boy,
He's,
I hate
he ain't got no problem with that at all. So now this is definitely the last thing he wanted. Kind of let
He's
up on his
elevated.
stroke a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he wanted
jacked
to
up.
hold in between the 6 and 8. So now either roll this in and shoot the 6-7, or he'll come back for the cross side on the 6, which is a real nice shot with the 7 being there. First things first, so this 4's no hanger, being elevated.
No.
The good thing about the bank is you can bank at this with an angle, meaning you don't have to get right back flush on
Right.
it, you know. So, and now he's looking at this 6-7, which I think if he may have looked at that from the beginning, that's what he may have played shape on all along, because he shoots those combinations. You know, that's a tough one, but he shoots them awfully well.
I think he wants to play position for the bank, but he's not sure he can get there.
And it's pretty natural, you know. He's just got to hit it with a little low right, and again, he doesn't have to come all the way back. Wow, look at this stroke here.
He's improved his roll altogether. He's going to fire it up the corner. Oh, maybe he's going to play it in the
And he
side.
got off the rail. So, but this is what I talked about, even being off the rail, how tough this shot is.
Yeah.
And now that he's got a little angle, he could get a little thin on the 7 as well.
I think he's cutting it down the corner.
I don't blame him if he does, because that makes it a little easier to come back and forth. I like him shooting in the corner, yeah.
Yeah, he's looking at it.
Remember, with a good stroke and you don't punch it, the ball's sliding in
Slides
pretty
into the
well.
pocket,
So
yeah.
now he's going to have to cue this with a hair of inside, just to make sure he comes across above the side pocket, but not too much, because he doesn't want to run into the 9 off that second rail. So touchy shot here. But this is a shot I practice every time I'm in the pool room or I'm practicing. The ball down the rail, I shoot it from a bunch of different places. Gives you a lot of confidence and really lets you know where your stroke's at as far as the timing. Great shot.
Oh boy, he hit that so clean.
Yeah, he's got a little long distance on the 7. Shouldn't be a problem. This is another thing that Dennis does so well, which all the great players do. From a small angle like this,
They get such a good response.
on the cue ball, getting the cue ball off the rail.
Off the rail, yeah.
And that's the stroke moving the ball because he's aiming very fat on this. So, well, he kind of
He didn't
cinched it
do
a
it
little
there.
bit.
Yeah. Made a liar out of you.
Oh, ooh.
Definitely played that to the outside.
Yeah,
of
and the balls here have had a little skidding, so I like the stroke you put on it. I think it just skid a hair.
What a great out that was.
Yeah, made a great jump shot. Ooh, my goodness.
I should have kept my mouth shut.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Boy, Melling leaped out of his chair.
He sure did. He didn't expect to get to shoot till after Dennis racked and broke the balls and probably ran another
Right.
rack. So
Wow.
now 4-2.
Wow. All of that work. Wow. That was a complete surprise.
Yeah. Huge. Huge.
And that's something that I know I've been guilty of. And, I see it all the time. A lot of players are, you make the tough shot or tough out, and then you finally get to where you're home free, and you just let up a little bit, and you miss the ball. And I think that's what happened there.
Yeah. Not something you're going to see maybe once a year, a shot like that from Dennis, twice a year.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I didn't expect it from
maybe.
a player of his caliber.
Yeah, and he hit a couple of shots through the end of the rack. When he finally got to where most of the tough work was over, he hit a couple of them. The 7 a little off, the 8 a little off, and then you saw the 10 wasn't even really close.
No,
so
he missed it by
2 inches,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, he fired it right into the rail.
Oh, and then a ball off the table. So
Oh boy.
I talked about this. Earlier in the tournament. As far as when might a player think about taking a timeout, and I think Dennis, when he gets another opportunity, would be a great time. Okay, he's got some issues here. Now, as tough as these balls are, and there's so much jumbled around, I would probably bank the 1. Hit it before the side and knock it around 3 rails underneath the 8 and 2 and squeeze that cue ball back behind that 7. Does the 2 pass the 3?
No, I don't think so.
It's just so tricky. Everything's so tricky right here on these first couple shots. Okay, the 2 must slide by is what I'm thinking. It's got to slide by. Because he can't afford much angle on it either. You don't want to be shooting to a half a pocket or a small portion of the pocket with an angle, especially not only for position, but I think I would look at really knocking this 1 around table. And with ball in hand, you should be able to really get him underneath the 7. And if you put the 1 in a good place over here, things are real difficult. So,
Well, he's
okay, he's playing for the big angle, so he must really like his chances of knocking this ball in. But where does he go with the cue ball? Across the table to thin on the 3, maybe?
maybe yeah. Bring the cue ball
Oh, he's
back.
just going to kill it in that little area.
Okay.
Great shot.
Wow. Wow.
Great shot.
Well, this monitor sure is deceiving because it sure didn't look like that 2 would pass.
Well, now the rack's opened up nicely. He'll play the 4 on the side, most likely. Oh,
Uh-oh.
wow.
Lost it a little bit. Well, he can shoot it up straight in the corner.
Well, that's what he's going to do, and he's a super straight shooter, but not a good feeling when the cue ball gets away from you a little bit like that on an easy shot, though.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's what happened.
Yeah, is he going to get a roll? It looks like... ooh, no, I don't think so. I think Dennis... I don't know. It's close.
Yeah. Well, Chris has got to be sick.
Okay, Dennis, he's not taking much... he's taking a little time, so it tells me he's probably snookered.
Can you shoot at rail first?
Maybe, but when it's so close to the rail, it's
real tough.
pretty much about like hitting the ball first, meaning you got to get real close to that spot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he's kicking.
yeah,
Nice
he wants to
shoot.
catch the second rail and then the other ball real full, and then come up on the 8.
Yeah, nice and soft.
And it's gonna be too much. Yeah. I think he should keep it simple here. Just edge this ball and put him right back on the 8. Don't take any chances going up table. Yeah. Playing call shot. And there's so much value in the safety. That's one thing I'm not in love with. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with that now. Your opponent, for him to run out, he's got to call it. You know, it's one thing for him to get safe on you. But for him to really do the most penal damage from a spot like this, he's got to call it, so. And Dennis trying to figure out what is possible. Maybe the 5 ball cross with the 9 coming across. Maybe is he calling the 4 on the side?
The 4
there
on
you
the side,
4 on the side. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It may go in off the 5.
Or off the 9.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
initially off the 9 and then
Yeah.
off the 5. Yeah. Gonna hit it hard, right? You can't do that. Is he really gonna jump this ball to what though? You're talking about taking a chance at fouling initially. This is no hanger to get over this ball, and now people say, "Oh, it's a hanger." Watch, but when the pressure's on, it's no hanger to get over this ball. Now, what are you gonna do as far as containment? He's trying to hold the cue ball in the end rail and send the 4 around. And I think he's going to change his mind here. I like his initial play, trying to make the 4 on the side. So.
Yeah. Look at that shot.
Well, yeah.
She just.
Why didn't she call it?
Oh, she didn't call it? I
No.
thought she called it.
Which I've seen a lot of players this week call safety. There's no value in ever calling safety in the rules we're playing.
Right. You should always call the ball.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about the semifinal match between Chen and Ga Young Kim. Okay, this isn't going to turn out. I don't think. No, the 4's gone too. Yeah, it's at 3 apiece in that semifinal. So Chen was behind at first, recovering now.
Guy Young Kim at the table just speared a 4 and a tough 4 and
Wow, that was a nice thin cut on the
Yes, it
4 there.
was.
And really needs to play, keep that tidy position. We saw him get a little out of line on a 4 ball. It's routine 3 to the 4 in this rack. And then consequently end up missing it. I talked to Chris before. I think it was the Derby after his win there, but it was actually before his win. But that he's still, you know, all of us though, but you know, trying to learn to play with your nerves when you get in these finals.
right.
A lot of people say, "Oh, don't get nervous." Well, these guys get nervous as well.
Everybody gets nervous. Everybody gets nervous. Some people handle it better than others, but
Well, it's a learning process. That's all.
yeah.
Nice simple shot there. I liked him not trying to force it too much. Just play for the corner. And now looking for a 5-2 lead and breaking. So
Yeah, that was a costly 10-ball miss for Dennis.
I put the 5 up a little quick, pardon me, but now Dennis, we talked about having some deficits early in this tournament, all through this tournament really, but you know as well as I do, as great as Dennis is, you can't afford to keep doing that.
No.
You're playing guys that okay, Dennis is a hair favorite maybe over the entire field when it comes to one-on-one matches.
Yes.
But in
I
a
would
race
say
to
that.
9, I mean, it's like 2%, probably 3% playing alternate to break, especially, I think. So,
Yeah, and the thing is, I was talking to Chris yesterday also, and he told me that he plays on the Euro Tour all the time, and so he's tournament sharp.
oh, absolutely,
And,
absolutely.
And he said that that has prepared him for these bigger events.
Right.
You know, to handle the nerves and
Sure.
and
That's
also to you know, hone your attitude and your level of play and
and finding out what works for you, you know.
What
so
you can do and what
getting
you
to
can't.
compete.
Yep.
Yeah, he's playing a bunch of world champions and a bunch of great players in Europe, and it's a big stepping stone and building block for the bigger events. And
Yeah.
not saying they're not big events in themselves, but
Right.
you know, you play something and you kind of get used to it a little bit.
Yeah, your
so,
comfort level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So having to kind of probably relearn and or reconfirm his comfort level at this level also.
Yes.
So,
But he told me yesterday he feels like he belongs with the top players in the
oh,
world.
absolutely, absolutely.
And he told me he expects himself to do big things in the next year or two.
Okay,
And,
he's got a shot here. It looks at the 3. Yeah, he's gonna. He's not a player that's afraid to take on a shot. That's one key thing that you recognize real quick about Chris. Big shot here to take a 6-2 lead, though. If you ask me, this shot right here is just going to pretty much do the rack.
Yeah.
You'll see
yeah,
the 4's next to the 5. The 5's right there for the 6 goes in the corner by the 10. The 7 goes by the 9. The 8 in the side. So
yeah, they're all pretty routine from here.
yeah, I'm never like to be one of those commentators that say he should get out. Oh, it's easy. But this is one after that
There's
3
no
ball.
real problems.
Right. It's just containing his nerves.
Yeah, now it's just a matter of getting it done.
Right. Now he can just brush this 6, no problems, if need be. That's kind of what he played for, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, to knock it. Yeah, now he's got a nice angle to get on the 7.
And that's another thing you'll learn. He didn't force the 4 trying to get way down there, straight in on the 5 to
Right.
where he didn't have to bump the 6. You know, sometimes people, you know, work with what you got, what the table's giving you, and what makes everything just so easy.
Right.
So if he had to try and force the cue ball forward on almost a straight 4, it made the
It made
ball
the
a little
shot
missable.
tougher.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yep.
Okay, pretty easy stuff here. Just a little bit of drawback maybe.
Right.
Doesn't even have to draw back to straight in or on the other side. You'll see the 9's very accessible.
Yep.
Kind of shot I like to have in this situation to where I can just do my thing, get a little even more comfortable like here drawing the ball so you're not over hitting it. Just kind of keep yourself in stroke basically. And 10 ball, not as much with the magic rack or the templates, but 10 ball's a funny game. Sometimes, like, you can just be up against it. If you get the most difficult layouts compared to your opponent, it's very hard to win sometimes when you're playing at this level.
Yes. And it seems like when you do get behind, nothing is easy.
No, they're going to make you earn the comeback. That's
Right.
for sure.
Now Dennis is taking a break.
Yeah, and I highly recommended that, and we will too. We'll be right back.
Okay, the players are back from their break. Dennis trails Chris Melling 6-2. Controlled the cue ball, 8 in the corner, three in the corner, and I believe he's got an open shot on the 1. Looks like the balls don't present any serious problems this time. They're laying pretty good. The 4 to the 5 to the 6 looks like the only little problem. Okay, he's in good shape to get down table for the 5. This is tough though, you gotta go back and forth, and up and down.
Yeah, I think he'll just try and come to about the middle of the head stream.
Table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gotten a little flat, so he's going to have to
He's
put
gonna
some
have to
speed
pop
on
it.
this, yeah.
Yep, he's gonna have to pop it.
The good thing about is the 9's very accessible, so
Right.
shape on the 7 is just like make sure you get back to where you're not too thin. And you can learn something about that from these players, the timeout. Now, is he going to move the rack after missing the 10? Probably not.
Well, he's a little straighter than he was on that last one. Okay, he needed to break and run that one. He's very fortunate. All right, score is 6-3 Melling.
And we'll get you some outer scores as well. You can see it's 6-3. I believe James Aranis has come back and gotten the lead after trailing 3-1. I believe he's won 5 in a row. Now, I may be mistaken, but I believe that's the case.
He was down last night against Roberto Gomez.
Who, Aranis?
Aranis, yeah. Roberto had him 8-5 and got funny on the last 2 balls to give him the match. And he missed the ball.
Wow.
Aranis won that game, won the next one, and won the match behind it. Roberto's got to be sick about that because he just underhit the shape a little bit and made the shot tougher. And you can't give that kid any air. He's playing great. I've watched him play over the past year, mostly on the bar box, and he's, but I never realized what a killer he is on the big table. Boy.
Oh, no,
he's
he's
a great player.
Well, and killer, I mean, he's definitely the way he plays, and he's going to do nothing but get a lot more titles and get better.
Yeah.
And he is ahead 7-3. But the one thing about James, he's a young man, and I tell you, the first time I really saw him was right at a year ago out on the East Coast, and he played so fast, and I played him, and he made a few mistakes, I think, by playing fast, and it didn't take him long. Now he's not real slow, but just slow down and realize sorry, I got a man on a cell phone over there, so
Oh, okay.
I got to regroup here and just knock that in.
Yeah. He didn't like where he got it.
No, well, it's not so much like where he got it. It's he wants to clean the cue ball.
This cue ball, I don't know about the other tables, but this cue ball seems like it's caused the players a lot of problems on this table.
Quite honestly, to start the tournament, these pool balls were not in their best shape, meaning they really hadn't been cleaned in a long time.
Oh.
And so when you do that, you feel like, oh, I can clean it once, but it takes a good cleaning. I mean, it seems as they get worn a little quicker, or they get dirtier quicker. So
Okay.
you can get some skids on the balls. Chris doesn't mind the full shot to where he's just got to pinch the cue ball back. Okay, he had a little more angle than I thought. I thought he could just draw straight back into position about where he's at now.
When he comes all the way back, he takes all his fingers off the cue and he's holding it just like this.
Mhm.
Watch. He's just holding it with the first two, and then he just, and that's probably why he's got such a great touch, you know.
Well, he's got a real slow, deliberate backswing.
Yeah.
Probably had issues with a little bit being quick at one time. So a lot of guys they'll change to where they almost real slow and they have that little slight pause at the back.
Yeah.
It's something you do to try and correct a real quick shooting too quick from the top. Maybe you might say, like the transfer from the backswing to the front swing, and then they'll just end up playing that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll see a John Mora. He's even more so than he used to be, very deliberate on the backswing, and then a very big pause in the back.
I noticed yesterday that Chen Siming not only pauses on the front at the cue ball, but she also pauses on the back.
Right. Yeah, a lot of players, not a lot, but I mean most of the players that pause in the back definitely pause in the front as well, like a Buddy Hall. Buddy Hall's probably the reference you use more than anybody,
Buddy
at least.
Pull his cue right out of his bridge.
Yeah.
That's how pure his stroke is, that he can just come back from outer space and play as well as he does. It just always amazed me.
That's one name and one guy that anybody in the building, anybody on the planet could learn as far as fundamentals and just the way he played the game. A lot of heat on Dennis here now, trailing 7-3.
Yes, sir.
Can't afford this.
No.
I'll tell you that.
No.
Wow.
Well, it's a tough shot to get started with.
Yeah.
And do you bank it into the 8 or you just cut it down the rail?
He'll cut it in.
Yeah, that's what I would rather do.
He'll cut it in. You got to take your chances. Don't try and do extra with the cue ball trying to avoid. I mean, you're most likely going to get shape anyways with the 2 the way it is. It'd be unlucky to get planted behind something.
Right. Just concentrate on making the ball.
Yeah, I wouldn't add a bunch of English trying to play guaranteed position is my point on this shot. I would just level out, go back and forth, probably contacting the top of the 3. Something like that. There is an unlucky scratch off the bottom of the 3 that's looming. But I don't think he can afford to play safe here. And the bank, I don't think the bank is like dead on, you know?
Yeah.
So up 7-3, your opponent broke, you broke next. Now's the time to bury a big shot and get on the hill. Okay, great shot.
Hit it good.
And he did get snookered. Yeah, he got snookered. And that was just unlucky.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, he hit the ball beautifully. And if he catches any piece of the ball, he most likely escapes pretty easily for a shot on the 2.
Yeah, he'll jump this one, but
unfortunately, we don't have any Americans left in this Final Four. We have 2 Filipinos, an Englishman, and then Foldis is Spanish. Is that right?
I believe he's from Croatia.
Oh,
but
Croatia.
I'm not
Okay,
sure.
yeah, okay.
But I think that's what someone told me. But I can't. I'm not.
No, I
positive.
think you're right. You're right. I remember back to the World Championships. Wow, what a shot. What a shot. And he's going to be okay, it looks like.
Wow,
Now
great
just,
shot.
and now a tough shot, but what he can do with this is just come straight at that 4 and 10 with the cue ball. Be real unlucky to get snookered again. Again, I don't fight it here. I don't try to float this in.
Just try to play the natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even catch 2 rails here. I just come straight 1 rail at it. He was looking at trying to hit right before that side, and I don't think that's like applying a little bit of English. You know what I mean? Like that little bit sometimes is a lot more difficult than going a hair more outside or staying straight on the ball. So. Yeah, as great as he knocks the ball in here, I wouldn't try to do anything extra. Just take that natural path coming straight down. these players want to play clean pool, meaning not run into anything. But
Right.
you know,
Yeah, that's what Buddy used to say. You never go into a ball if you don't have to.
right?
Because you never know what's going to happen, even if you think you do.
Yeah, but there's that fine line of making the shot much more difficult, trying to do something extra.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And like here, he's looking at trying to catch that second rail, and I think just one rail straight at him is fine. You may not come away with a shot, meaning you may get grouped up on top of him, but very difficult to get snookered that way. Okay, he
Oh,
caught the
boy.
point.
Is he gonna
Now
scratch?
it's-
Oh. Wow.
Well, I know he's a little upset about it, but just regroup.
Yeah. Well,
Looks to me he could lay on the right side of the four,
Yeah, I
right?
was going to say, can you just, use the 10 as a blocker?
Yeah, let the four bump the 10 a little bit, and where the four lays to the side rail where he's looking right now, and the 10 just bumps up ever so slightly. Now it's touchy, very touchy shot.
Yeah.
But you'll notice there's not really a nice way to escape playing safe otherwise. If you try to hit the left side of the four and send the cue ball back up table, the four is going off the 10 kind of unpredictably.
Yeah.
So here's going to be a nice little easy shot here. He's got to cut the four a little bit though, or else he could get a double kiss on the 4-10, and that's not what he wants. So he's got to get some cut on this, and he did
Yeah,
fine.
nice.
Well, it's close.
Yeah, maybe let a little edge out. And if he did, Dennis has got to make sure he buries the cue ball, because it will leave a 4-10 combination if you just thin it.
Yeah. And he can't thin it too much because he'll get run the cue ball too much, because then the four could get over the pocket.
Right.
So I think he's kind of forced to maybe leave a 4-10 and maybe leave it to where the cue ball might be scratching in the side if you try to shoot the four into the 10,
Maybe.
something like that. Yeah, like so. I think that's about all he could do.
That's a good shot. That's a good shot. Now he's left a billiard on the 10, but, that's a tough one.
What's he looking at here? He called something pretty quickly, and I'm not sure
Is he
what.
going to cut it in the side?
I don't think so. Good luck with that.
Yeah, called
Maybe
the
he
side.
is. That's
Is he going
thin.
to kick at it? Kick it in?
Now this will have a lot of pace.
Yeah, he's
No, he's
calculating
kicking,
the
yeah.
kick. Tell you what, he's one of the best in the biz. I've watched him do his calculations.
Now he's got to slow roll this though. You don't want to hit this hard and lose accuracy.
Now he's going to come above the 5, or is he going to come underneath the 5?
No, he'll just come a little bit right of the middle diamond, I believe, just naturally right at the 4. He definitely wants to roll it. There's no reason to hit it firm.
Yeah. Oh boy, he missed that just by a hair.
He's left it tough. Is Dennis going to roll the cue ball up on the 7 here?
Yeah.
Got to make sure he does well with the cue ball here, with the 8 being there though, because the 4 is going to go down towards this 9 and 8. So if you don't bury the cue ball pretty well here, you could leave an on kick shot very easily too. That's why Dennis he's
Taking his time.
yeah, and he may look offensively a little bit at it just because.
And he's looking at all the options, I think. He's looking at the 4-9, using the 8 for sideboards, and
Well, that and just because the safety's not too hard to execute, but it's very hard to execute getting him froze on the 7. So
right.
he's just using the 7 and knocking this ball over to the side rail, and I like that because it's not a devastating hook, but there's not really a great offensive percentage right here for him to kick this. If he sends the 4 down towards that 9 and 8, something could get wired up. You could make it to where there's a lot of options. And James Aranis has gone to win, and Foldis is a great tournament, finishing 4th.
Yeah, that is a great event.
Yeah, there's only 3 guys in the tournament that are going to be happier than Mr. Foldis, so he should be proud.
Yeah, he had a great showing. It was, you know, he travels all over the West, tries to get to the big events.
Chris has definitely got some type of system he's confident in.
Well, he told me he knows them all. He's taking the time to learn, and it shows up.
Well, it's a good reference. You know, the system's what they do is the big thing about the system
They
is
align you,
that, and you have to be able to adjust. Meaning, is the table playing?
adjust to conditions.
Yeah, is the table playing super long? Is it playing super fast? Is
and
it
then you
doing
have
this?
to be able to execute the
Right.
hit too. The stroke on the ball, but
How great was that?
yeah, you
How
got,
well did that turn out?
there's a 4 kiss into the side off the 6.
Maybe with top English, maybe, but I think the cue ball's going towards that other side doing that. So, and he has to hit top. He can't hit the ball and make the 4. I know that. It's kind of like the shot that he's got to hit top English. So he's going to have to hit this pretty full.
Yeah, he tried to play it in the side. Oh, look
Oh!
at this.
Oh,
boy, it
that would have
almost
been
got
amazing.
kicked in.
And that's kind of like Guy Young Kim's shot yesterday on the 5-6. It's kind of, if it's not on, it's not going to maybe go. You
Right.
know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm not so
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I remember that in the corner. Yeah.
And Dennis had a little bit of a look right there, like, oh, maybe it's not my match, this match.
Yeah.
You know, I play a good safety, I think a smart safety, making him kick at a 1 ball to make instead of maybe the 8 or the 9. And us, Chris
is
Melling,
liking
yeah.
these. This will put them on the hill. They're all laying nice.
Yeah, on the hill and breaking.
Yeah.
And definitely wanting to close it. Next game now, he's gotten a little thin here, so he's got to pay attention. He'll go 2 rails inside, looks like so.
Very nice.
And just, as they say in England, screw the cue ball back a little bit.
Yeah.
Like Mary mentioned, the slow backswing, you can learn a lot from that, that's for sure. And it's all about whatever your timing is, meaning it doesn't have to be exactly like
Yeah,
Chris's.
it's
you know.
individual,
Yeah,
right.
very personal thing. So. And that's kind of what I talked about earlier as far as Dennis getting behind in some matches, and now he's gotten behind even more, but he didn't really do a whole lot wrong there.
No,
It was
he
just
really
like
didn't.
that. But when you fall behind, you're kind of in the pool guard. Now, Chris made some great kick shots and whatnot, but you're kind of in the pool guard's hands a little bit when you fall behind.
And missing that 10 ball didn't help any.
A Lifetime Achievement Award that will take place at 5 p.m. at the Rio Pavilion Convention Center. Please visit the Rio Convention Center and honor Efren at 5 p.m. if you're able. You will make it back in time for the finals for the men's.
Now, being this is a true double elimination event. You know, it's really important to win the hot seat match.
Oh,
because,
yeah. Yeah, I was commenting on that at the beginning of this, how important this match is.
Yeah. You know, you want to be the one they have to beat you twice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
And just a simple work factor and odds. For any of these players, just like any great teams or any great players in other sports, it's very hard for them to get beat twice in a row. So whether that comes with performance or getting a little bit of a roll here and there to edge out a match. Okay, missed those a little bit. Now he's gotten the ball on the side now. Is this 10 going to get involved? It looks like it. But really, overall, the way he hit the break, I don't think he's too upset because he could have easily lost the cue ball.
yeah, normally the 1 goes straight down the corner on his break. He does that at least half the time. And this time it hit before the side pocket and then got kicked down table.
I'm wondering what he's going to look at here. I'd like to kick to the end rail and come across the 1, send the cue ball up table, and maybe the 1 banks back behind the 10, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very doable shot, too. Otherwise, he's got to roll out to another kick, I believe. Now, early in the match, when he was in a situation like this, he tried to immediately roll out and tie something up. This is very difficult to do, and that's this situation, that's very difficult to do.
I don't think he wants to tie anything up because he knows he's got the, just by the numbers, by the score, he knows he's got a huge advantage.
Yeah, he's definitely got that. I wouldn't roll out to a piece of this ball, though, I don't think, unless it's just too cuttable.
Yeah, I was just
anywhere.
looking at, yeah, it's makeable for almost anywhere.
Yeah, so out to some type of kick shot, that's for sure.
Or give him the jump. Would you jump this?
Not
too
me.
far away?
Yeah,
Well, I know
the-
maybe not you or I,
but still, the two's so
two's
far.
pretty far,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Dennis doing the right thing here, no matter
Give
what.
it back to him.
Yeah, you can't take the worst of it. So.
Yeah.
I'm really wondering what out to here.
Oh, it looks like he just rolled out to the one rail kick. Is he playing it in the corner?
I think he's looking now at 2 rails, wrapping out of the corner, but I'm just wondering what's going to happen productively. I like kicking from where he break before. Like I might have just touched the cue ball a hair, put it in a little better position, kick to that end rail, but he was
Wow,
trying
that
to kill
was
his ball.
really uncharacteristic for him.
Yeah.
This, a fairly simple kick
I
like
think
that.
he rolled out to a real tough spot, though.
Yeah.
Like to very difficult to make an accurate hit.
Well, Dennis made a good decision. He's got ball in hand. The ball's laying pretty well.
Just draw the cue ball back. 3 may pass the 10, I don't know, but otherwise he'll just draw the cue ball back.
Yeah. And you just cinch this, or did you try to roll off the end rail?
He must have fallen straight. Otherwise he
Yeah,
wouldn't be
he's just
cinching
gonna-
it, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
he's just cinched it. Like you say, these are all routine shots for these guys, even if they are tougher for, the average player.
Be routine. We've seen a few misses, but
Mm-hmm.
and really it started with that 10 ball that Dennis missed. That's kind of where everything went south.
Yep. Yeah.
That was to go ahead. No, that was to tie it at
That
3
was to
games
tie it
apiece.
up.
Yeah.
Looks like he's got a little bit of an angle. Go one rail. Yeah. 2 rails.
And the loser of this match will go on to play James Aranis in the semifinal.
Hey, very nice. 8-4, Melling. I've never seen that before.
No? You never seen that? Not so sure he's so happy with his tip right now.
Well, I read some that I believe Roy Francisco was talking about Dennis, and he says Dennis changes his tips every 2 weeks.
Right.
He's a tip fanatic.
Yeah.
And
Tip snob, we might call it.
there you go. And, yeah.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. It's 8-4.
Yeah. I hate to get a new tip because you got to break it in, get used to it. And I can't even imagine changing it every 2 weeks.
Well, Dennis used to exclusively play with the sniper tips, but he's in the last few years. And we'll see. Usually in this situation, you'll find a player really amp up on the break. I think you got to keep your head about you, meaning I think that's when you can actually miss the balls and you may miss hit the. Oh. Okay, and that's what I was talking about. Occasionally with these racks, what
They
I've
hit 'em
seen
too
always,
hard.
yeah, they go a little long. The balls on the
Right.
sides go a little bit long when the overhit's there a little bit. So,
Mhm.
and don't get me wrong, what happens is you tell yourself, all right, I'll be easy on this one, and you kind of blah the rack. You kind of do nothing to it.
Right.
So there's just that fine line of hitting it with that nice pop like you want. You still want
That's
to
what
keep
Shane
the pop.
does so well. He replicates
Oh yeah,
his timing.
and he's got a bunch of
and the
different
speed.
speeds. Yeah.
And that's why his break is so
Now,
formidable.
This is a one pocket shot that he could shoot the one very full and go through it to the rail and over and bury him behind the. Oh, okay, nifty there. I didn't know he could get in there, and that was a great shot.
That'll work too.
Side rail right here. He's in big trouble. He's going to have to go 2 cushions, and he's cueing into the rail too, meaning the cue ball's very close, so it's very easy to like double hit it
Yeah.
to where the ball doesn't come out how you want it all.
Right.
So
Come back into the clip the 5 and clip the
okay,
3.
he's got to go this way if he can do it. He wants to get some speed on it.
No, he doesn't like it.
He's in a tough spot. Okay, is he
Looking
going to
for
get
a
a rail? He is. What
Yes,
a
he
great
did.
shot,
Wow.
too, now. I mean, under the situation,
Sure
that was a
was.
great shot. We got a score update from our other semifinal going on in the ladies division. In the pro ladies, Guy Young Kim up 6-4 over the number 1 player in the world, Chen. He's put this in a funny spot, too, as far as running the cue ball. Cannot hit the left side of the one. That's a scratch. There's not really much to cover, so he's wondering, can I get the one across and still contain the cue ball behind the 10-8? So that's why you...
Can he cut it in, you think? You have to hit it really thin.
It's pretty thin to me.
Yeah.
And just being on the rails really cut him
Makes it
off
tough.
here, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, he's calling.
He's cut it in the other corner. He's cutting it in the corner, not the
Corner.
side.
Wow.
Tells me the side's not even doable.
Yeah.
So he's definitely going into the point with the cue ball. So the cue ball should go back towards the 9 probably if he makes his as well. Okay, it went backwards. Is it going to get the
look at that. He got a
scratch?
bad scratch. Ugh. I wonder what the 2-9 looks like.
Yeah, it looks fine. I think it's maybe the 2's coming up a little bit, but I wouldn't say a whole lot.
Well, Dennis doesn't seem to be too concerned about it. Oh, he's playing the 10. Maybe the 2-9 isn't any good.
Really?
Yeah, he just put the cue ball down there for the 2-10. I mean, the 1-10.
He can't cut the 2-9 and from a little bit above and let the 2 come up with the cue ball. The cue ball come off the end rail. I think that's
Let's see
okay.
where he puts the cue ball. Okay, he looks like he's just going to float down. All right, so he must be able to do it.
Oof, I don't think
He
he
didn't
got
get down
there.
there far enough.
Yeah.
He's got to be at least even with it or below it.
Yeah, because
I
the
think.
ball throws so much. Even
Yeah.
though there's a pretty big gap of about an inch between the balls, you have to cut it quite a bit because the 2 will still make the 9 throw. So, okay,
No, it
that was
wasn't as
yeah,
bad.
that was
Didn't-
easier.
yeah,
Yeah.
Didn't look as bad as it must not have been as bad as it looked up from
No,
up
and
here.
even Dennis sometimes are going right. Things can look a little more difficult than they really are.
Yeah.
He's human along with superhuman.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
All right, now here he should just come right at the 5 and play the 5 in the corner. I mean, you could play for the side, but I don't think that's necessary. You just come right at it, stay about where the head string's at.
Just like that.
Yeah, and you're real natural. Playing the balls in the corners too. It keeps you in line, but I think it also keeps you in stroke.
Oh,
Okay. And just 4 balls here from keeping the heat on Chris. We've seen funnier things happen, that's for sure.
You know, we were talking before about the quick backswing. Dennis, he doesn't hold it back there. He's got a quick backswing, and pretty. He just puts the tip up there and then just rears back and fires it. Short backswing.
Actually, when he's playing his best, his backswing's not as slow as Chris's, obviously, but pretty smooth.
Yeah, but he was just.
Yeah, and I think that's the one that gets him in trouble a little bit, is that quick one. Like if you'll watch that 10 ball, which we had it on video, real quick motion.
Yeah,
So.
I think he surprised himself by missing that one.
Yeah, we talked about it on the timeout just for a second. He was shaking his head at himself for sure. And Dennis is also one of those players that throws the cue. Like I throw the cue as well. There's a lot of guys that throw the cue. It actually comes out of their hand on the floor, and it throws the cue through the stroke, and you re-grab it. So usually players, when they're a thrower of the cue, they don't do it every shot, but they do it the majority. Like Niels Fayen, big thrower of the cue. He throws it about 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah, he's a great player. He is.
Yeah, great player. And what it does is it really keeps you from being able to drop the elbow and still get through the cue ball.
Right.
You know what I mean? A little further than most. So.
Kind of a reverse slip stroke.
Yeah, well, the slip stroke, you grab it.
Yeah,
And then you re-grip it before you come forward.
Right. Yeah.
So, but this is actually, his throw has gotten a little shorter in the years that I've seen. But like a Jason Klatt throws a cue, a lot more people than you think.
Yeah, I'll have to pay attention to that.
Yeah, the kid from, I'm trying to think of his name. I just seen him once or twice. I believe he's from Brazil or maybe Venezuela. I'll try and get his name, but you ought to see this kid. He's going to be a phenomenal player.
Really?
Yeah, and he already is, but man, he throws it about 8 inches. It's amazing.
Really?
Oh man, he really sends it. But you get a lot of power that way.
Yeah.
You get a lot of easy power that way too. So again, he's in a tough rollout. He can't roll out up table, even though the one doesn't go. He'll get buried behind the 3-4 with the cue ball somehow that way. So. It's a very difficult rollout situation here now. Do you challenge Dennis? Meaning, you can't roll out up here. You can't take a chance of getting the cue ball buried behind the 3-4. So maybe knock the 3 away and plant him on this end rail and really challenge him. Okay, I don't see how that's going to be any good. He's going to rub across the 1 and put him behind the. At the very worst. Dennis plays the bank. I would rather him play the bank.
Yeah. No, that's what I think. Yeah, Chris pushed out for. He knew Dennis would take the bank.
Yeah, but Dennis has got an awfully easy safety that really has a huge advantage, it looks like to me, just rubbing off the 1 and letting the cue ball go into the 3 or whatever. But the 4 is a big ball to hook him on. So. But this is a thing I like to see, is great players trying to make great shots. Trying to figure out the best way to make it natural, meaning where he can just let his stroke out.
Right.
Do I hold it? Do I draw it?
Yeah,
Do I
the 5
force it to the end rail?
complicates it because he doesn't want to hook himself behind the 5.
Yeah, and I think he'll end up drawing it to back to the 9's at and back out is what I think you're going to end up seeing him do, unless he's just real straight, and then he'll just pop it and hold his ball.
Yeah.
He can cut the 3 from a lot of places, so just getting that shot on the 2 is pretty key. He's got a great the 1-2 and putting him behind the 3-4, so he's got options. He's never going to pass this shot, meaning even if he elects not to bank it, he's not going to pass it. He'll play the safety.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, unless they just roll out really ignorant, you rarely ever want to pass.
Boy, he sure doesn't like it.
About the most time I've ever seen Dennis take on a shot, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah, he's gotten up and down at least a half a dozen times. Oh
Great
boy, he
shot,
speared it.
yeah.
What a great shot. What a great shot.
And it looked to me that was the way to play it. He wanted to be able to shoot it to where he could let it stroke out, whether that be forced to the in rail, draw to the side rail. He didn't want to dink it in any
Right,
kind of way,
right.
trying to hold position.
Right.
So,
Yeah, what a great shot.
I mean, he's a little off angle here to where he's may have to go forward. I don't know. Okay, he's drawing it. And Dennis is one of the best as far as with the open bridge drawing the ball. I see a lot of people make mistakes with that open bridge. He doesn't seem to have as much problem. A lot of people, they like the open bridge. It gives them comfort looking down the cue.
See the cue better?
Cue stick
Yeah.
goes up, and then you lose a lot of power on the draw shot. So, really, again, I wouldn't say routine. He's got some work left, but he needs to stay on the proper side of the 6, getting to the 8 to the 9, but has a chance to keep a lot of on the balls next. So,
Right. And on the other table, the other women's semifinal,
Yeah,
Young Kim leads
6-5.
6-5.
So he's really had the lead the entire match. Chin started off struggling, really just 3 or 4 very makeable balls in the first 2 or 3 games. Okay,
Wow.
and then
Guy Young just
just rattled a 2
rattled
ball.
the 2-ball.
And that's what we saw yesterday in the Winterside final with Guy Young and
Yeah.
Kelly Fisher. Guy Young really starting off great in the match, just as well as you could start off, breaking running several racks to start the match, when it was her break, but then making a few mistakes come down the end. So Dennis Orcollo,
8-6 Melling.
8-6. So we'll get a look at this cross corner bank. It took him a minute to figure out how he wanted to shoot it, but when he decided how to hit it, he sure hit it perfect.
Boy, he did.
In the semifinals, we'll have Ray Skinner against Ray.
Kim left the ball in the pocket, but she hooked Chen. Chen just jumped over the ball, made it.
And he's got another tough
Got
shot
a
down the rail on the
Shot
3.
up the rail, yeah.
Again, this is the one like I talked about earlier. I practice this. This shot, when you get comfortable with this one, it makes getting through the rack a lot easier, meaning position for this type of shot
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Hit it perfect.
Boy, she hit it nice.
Perfect speed.
It's unfortunate that this tournament and the World Pool Masters
Oh, the
are
World
at the
Cup,
same
the
time.
World
the World
Cup,
Cup, I
yeah.
mean, yeah, are at the same time because so many of the great players that would have come here
Sure.
are playing over there.
Yeah, I think at least 25 of, well, they had 16 teams or 32 teams, maybe 16
I'm not
teams,
sure.
I think.
I'm
But
not sure.
you're missing 25, 30 guys that would have definitely been here.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, this has been an incredible event because every match was fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not like other tournaments where you say, well, which one do we want to put on TV? Here, every round could
Right.
have been a TV match.
Yeah, and that's really how it's supposed to be.
Of course.
Professional pool.
Absolutely.
It's one thing the U.S. Open the last few years that I've really enjoyed. I took a few years off, but that pretty much from the first round, you're finding 2 guys, maybe not always, but a lot of times you're finding 2 guys that could be in the semifinal or the final playing in the
Playing
first
in the
round.
first round,
Yeah.
yeah.
Chris just waiting for his opportunity. One thing about it, though, he may only get one more. Playing alternate break, Dennis did win the lag, so at 8-6 here, he can somehow get this game and make it 8-7. It'd be Chris's break, but that may only be the only thing that Chris gets to do.
One's heading towards the corner.
Yeah, he got the 1. He's got a nice shot on the 2. It's not easy. He's got to make it a little cut shot in the side.
Well, all the balls have a pocket.
Okay, he's a little funny, meaning I don't think it's just a hanger to put inside English and check the cue
hold
ball
it?
up holding it. Yeah, he may have to go behind the 3 or into the 3. Oh, boy. And that's why I was saying that it's just not easy. He was trying to
He was just trying to cinch it.
yeah,
and
slow roll it to hold for the 3. He would rather have not had to shoot it that way. And what happens is he'll probably he missed it, but a lot of times it's not as much of a miss because that slow roll really creates a lot of different collisions from cue ball to object ball. So
Yeah.
where it might grab just a hair more. Now he's a little off angle here.
Yeah,
He's
he
kind of
doesn't
going
like it.
yeah, he's going towards the 4 if he just naturally makes it. So he's either got to pound it to get out, which I think is what he's going to do, just to get an edge on the 3. Like so. Oh, he missed
Oh,
it.
and he missed it. Wow.
Yeah. And you'll notice
And
the cue
overdrew
ball.
it.
Yeah, and yeah, the cue ball wasn't ideal, but
Boy, is a tester.
yeah, because going forward, he knows it can hook a little bit, and he could catch the. So he's got to smooth this around and take a little longer shot on the 3. I think if he hits it with a lot of speed, this ball may hook. Yeah, see how the
boy,
cue ball was
yeah,
hooking
yeah,
a
it
little bit.
hooked,
Yeah.
yeah. Meanwhile, that 8 complicated things. That's a tough combination.
Sure.
Chris just said under his breath, I read his lips, he said, amazing.
Well, Chris shouldn't be too upset about this. I mean, he missed a pretty open
Oh, yeah,
2
no,
balls.
he's, yeah. As the balls do amazing things.
He's going to need a collision here.
Boy, he hit it good.
Did real well.
Yeah. Came right up into the, like what Tom Worth talks about, into the wedge. You know,
Into the pack, yeah. Now the 2 ball's very makeable a couple different ways here with that 8 being there. So
Yeah.
I kind of like the 1 rail myself. I think there's a lot of ways you can hit it 1 rail. The 2 rail, a little bit of a reference way, but I like him just going 1 rail at this. And the 1 rail, you don't have to put quite as much speed on it to make it. The 2 rail, you really got to put a little more speed because you're coming from behind the ball. So you don't have to kill it, but with the bridge especially, I really like the 1 rail. But the 2 rail is what he's looking at. 2 rail maybe offers a little more chance of getting safe though, just in case he doesn't make the 2.
Dennis knows that this shot is because he figures if he doesn't make it, it figures to sell out.
Yeah, that's why I play and call shots sometimes. If the best way to make it is just ease it in, you got to maybe do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
why.
I missed
That's,
the whole thing.
yeah,
Uh-oh. Well, he made the 3. a little more inaccessible.
I don't think it goes by the 6. Maybe it does. He's got ball in. He should
Yeah,
be able to
that's
find
true.
if it goes by the 6, he should be able to, other than getting dead straight behind the 7, meaning getting dead flat on the 3 where you can't get to the 4.
I don't think it goes past the 6 because Chris was shaking his head after he looked at it.
It's
it's
off
tough.
the 8 now.
So is he just going to
But where's he going with the cue
Is
ball?
he going to stick it and just knock the 3 out of there and play safe? I mean, I can't.
No,
He has to try to get out, I think.
He would have
doesn't
looked at the safety a little more if he was planning that. He's trying to get down on the end rail, and oh wow,
Kick that 7 out of
no,
there.
I don't
Yeah,
know
he
if he
did
tried
great.
to, but it worked out.
Oh boy, what a great shot that was!
If that was intended, that was way too clever because he definitely overhit the cue ball. If that 7 hadn't been moved, he would have definitely been hooked on the 3.
Yeah, what a creative shot that was, though. Even if
Yeah.
he didn't intentionally, very creative.
Just got to keep his nerve, really.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to fall on a small area on the 5 to make everything very natural, meaning that way he doesn't have to contend with the 9, 10, or the 8.
Right, and then get down. to
And
the
remember,
6.
straight in is okay. Don't flirt with getting hooked trying to get an angle, meaning he can draw the cue ball back nicely. He's done it several shots this match, so don't take the chance of getting snookered. Even if you fall a little short of straight in, you can wrap the corner with top inside on the 5. So this is where you don't have to be ideal getting behind the ball. Yeah, like here is fine. I like that. Even if you have to force a little more or draw back to short side or whatever it is, I don't like going forward another 6 inches and just to get perfect, and then all of a sudden I'm hooked on the 9. So just one big shot, it looks like. Uh-oh. That needs to lengthen a little bit. That needs to lengthen a little bit. It did there.
Get there.
Wow. Wow.
Rail first.
Rail first, but it's so far away from the pocket he cannot slow roll it in, I don't think, and hold for
And
the
hold
7.
the cue ball.
Yeah.
Can't hold the cue ball.
Now he can do it this way, 2 rails. Wow. Big shot there.
Yeah. He's
I-
going to kick it into the side.
Uh,
He called the side pocket.
oh, he's going to draw this then. If he called the side, he has to draw it, trying to hold the cue ball on the back rail, is what I'm assuming. Yeah, no, that's a nice shot. But the thing about this shot is don't baby it. You don't want the 6 to stay over. You want it to have a little speed on it. Like that.
Yeah.
Now, if it gets over a pocket, somehow it gets over a pocket, but you don't want it just laid up in the side pocket, making it easy for Dennis to get back down table.
Well, Dennis can see an edge.
He's not taking much time either, so he must be easing this ball. You would figure if he's running safe that he would, yeah, that's why anytime you're trying to run safe, a lot of times you'll take a little more time there just because it's just as tough as making a thin cut shot. You kind of regroup and
Right. Well, it's a tough shot, but it's makeable.
real natural though. He can just put a touch inside one rail right in between the 8 and 9.
And Chris uses inside real well,
He
too.
wants to clean the cue ball again. Which I'm not so sure if that should be allowed, to be honest with you. I've always
Well,
been
they
think-
they should have that little thing, like Ken
well,
Schumann has.
no,
that
I
little
understand to
round thing
replace the
instead
ball,
of-
right,
yeah,
right. But
and,
I think once the ball's in play, I think it should have to. You should have to play with it that way. I mean,
well,
it's a little different, but okay, that's going to probably end this Winterside final. That shot right there.
yeah, hit it nice.
He's okay. He just come out 2 rails.
Got a little straight on it.
He's
Gotta
okay though.
follow it 2 rails.
Yeah. You want to have a nice little angle from the just a little right of center. on the table.
He's gonna just cinch it.
Ooh,
To
wow.
roll it. Why did he do that?
It's just a bad stroke there. There was nothing wrong with what he was going to attempt to do, but it was just a.
Yeah. See the pressure, even though he's ahead, the pressure
course,
gets
yeah.
to everybody.
Now he's got to make a big decision.
Yeah,
He's got to check it. He's got to roll it. He's got to come 4 rail. He's got to make a decision here. Now 4 rails is probably not the option. Looking at the pool table, it's not that thin. But now he's got to drag the ball. Okay, and he got her
He
down.
hit it really nice. What a nice shot.
So it looks to be like Chris Melling's going to take this winner's side, and we're going to have 2 Filipino champions playing each other in the semifinal.
What a great match.
Yeah, great match. And Dennis is going to do a little practice, and I'm Jeremy Jones with Pool Action TV, joined by Mary Kinnison. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Jeremy.
And we're going to have
Pleasure.
we're going to have